Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video number 2 of the day. I honestly think I'm going to be dropping 4 videos for you guys today because since I done video number 1, I've had so much information hit me. And I think all of us have been paying attention. All of us have seen what's gone on in the last 2 hours. 2 hours. I put the other video out about 2.5, 3 hours ago now. Last 2 hours, we have had so much happen. It's been ridiculous. We've gone from the deal's off to the deal is on to there was a bid made to a deadline to was it before or after to the Saul deal is not happening to there might be a chance. It's gone bonkers and we still got 10 hours to go. And this is exactly what I said in video number 1. The deadline day is so unpredictable. Things can change like that. Like that. In a matter of minutes, you can go from something being dead to something actually happening, and vice versa. Something is about to happen, boom, everything's collapsed. It can go either way, and this is the beautiful thing of deadline day. It keeps the adrenaline going. All of us are absolutely glued. It's times like this where you love to be a football fan, but I hear a lot of concern amongst the Chelsea fan base thinking that this would be a terrible window if we don't get a Kounde or if we don't get a Saul. Now, realistically, we got Lukaku, we've got our forward, which was the main priority, and I'm happy with that. Do we need a midfielder? It'd be nice. It would be nice. Although we do have the cover, just in case. If we have to put Chalobah there, if we have to put Loftus-Cheek there, Loftus-Cheek will be staying at the club. That's been mentioned by everyone and their mother. Fabrizio Romano, Simon Johnson, Nizar Kinsella, Simon Phillips, Dan McCarthy. Everyone has said Loftus-Cheek is staying. He's not going anywhere. Now, quickly, before we get into the main news of Kounde and Saul, Loftus-Cheek is staying. Hudson-Odoi is staying. Hudson-Odoi is not going anywhere. That loan move is off. It's not happening. Hudson-Odoi will be remaining at the club. And you know what? I'm happy with that. Whether he was going to go out on loan, if Chelsea were happy with that, cool. If he's staying and Tuchel wants him to develop here, as long as he gets some minutes and a chance to prove himself, I'm happy with that too. Let's see what Hudson-Odoi can do amongst the big boys. Now, let's get to what has gone down. Because let's start with Kounde. Let's start with Kounde because I gave you guys the video earlier on this morning. And since then, the director of Sevilla, the sporting director, Monchi, came out and done a press conference. You don't normally see this sort of transparency from a sporting director immediately to the press. It never happens in English football. It happens in continental football. It definitely happens in African football. I think they do more talking than the managers. But in Spain, it's happened. It's Sevilla. It's Monchi. Let's get into what Monchi has said. And then we're going to try and dissect because there's contradictions happening here. There's contradictions. Let's get into it. So, Sevilla director Monchi says if there isn't an offer which we feel we can reinvest well, then it won't be accepted. Kounde knows that, and he's a fantastic professional. We had a deadline on August 20th, but we received the bid on August 25th, and we turned it down. That's weird. Why would Chelsea wait 5 days after the deadline to put in a bid? That's just stupid. Let's have it right. That's just dumb. That means the deal could have been done if they had just adhered to the deadline. I don't quite understand that. For more detail, let's jump into what Simon Johnson has said because he's given us the two sides. So, let's check this out. He quotes Monchi's version saying, the only offer from Chelsea for Kounde was last Wednesday for an amount we didn't like. And if I'm not mistaken, last Wednesday was, in fact, the 25th. Yeah, it was. So, there's we're getting facts at the moment. It sounds like we're getting facts. Let's keep reading. For an amount we didn't like, it was not enough for us. We responded with a counter offer, which had a deadline of Friday to allow us to be able to sign a replacement. They did not respond to that counter offer before Friday. Kounde's clause never went up to 90 million euros. It has always been 80 million euros. Simon Johnson then goes on to say, meanwhile, as The Athletic reported on Monday, Chelsea believed they had a verbal agreement on the asking price only for Sevilla to ask for another 15 million. Something's wrong here. One party is not telling the truth. They're not telling the truth. I find it weird that Sevilla are saying that they proposed a counter offer and Chelsea didn't respond. But now we're having from our end, from Chelsea's end, that Chelsea had a verbal agreement and then Sevilla went back on that by adding 15 million euros to the price that they had verbally agreed. something's not right here. I don't know who to believe. I don't know. Now we're having Monchi come out directly, and he's transparent and he's explaining his version of events, but we're hearing something else from Chelsea's end, or from, you know, the people connected with Chelsea, like Simon Johnson at The Athletic, who tend to be very, very, very reliable in terms of what is actually happening. So what is happening? Did Chelsea miss a deadline? Right now that seems like yes, but apparently Chelsea had that verbal agreement. Is that verbal agreement set in stone? Was that set in stone? Did Sevilla add more to help get the figure closer to the release clause? Because now what Sevilla are saying is pay the release clause. There's no negotiating. Pay the release clause. You pay the release clause, cool. You don't pay, we're keeping him. And right now it also seems like there's possibly a thing for the replacement, because that's why the deadline was there. The deadline was there so Sevilla had time, if Kounde was to go and look for a replacement and have enough time to go and get that done. Now they don't have that time to get that done. They would have to panic buy, in essence, because it's deadline day and they're not linked with anyone. So that is that's the whole thing with Kounde at the moment. It's touch and go, and it's all weird, and I really don't know what to think of it. Whereas there's still time. Kounde wants to move. We know this. Kounde wants to move. Chelsea, it's up to them now. What has happened. Whether one person or one team or one side is telling a lie or telling the truth, now it's irrelevant, because we have 10 hours to go. Are we going to get this deal done or not? The thing to get this deal done, Chelsea's problem right now is saving face. Let's have it right. Because if Sevilla are now, as they are, going, pay the release clause. There's no negotiation. Pay the release clause and he's yours. If Chelsea do that, now the release clause is 77 million euros, that equates, or 80 million euros, that equates to about 68 million pounds. 65, 68 million pounds. I think 65. But anyway, around there. If Chelsea pay that release clause, that's sending a message long term to all the teams around the world that if you just push Chelsea's buttons a little bit and force them to pay a release clause, they'll pay it and you'll get exactly what you want. And Chelsea don't want to put themselves in that situation. But at the same time, if Chelsea don't pay up and they don't put on the release clause, then we don't end up with the long-term target that we wanted. And we might have to wait until January to get this done. And in that time, we're probably losing out because we already let go of Zuma. So we haven't got a replacement in. It's touch and go. Chelsea might have put themselves in a situation here which isn't sensible. But it depends who's telling the truth. Was there a verbal agreement? Or did Chelsea miss the deadline? Did they put a bid after the deadline? Because if they did that, it's Chelsea's fault. If there was a verbal agreement and this deadline is a smokescreen for the fact that Sevilla added a bit of money and Chelsea are going, no, we're not doing that, then that's on Sevilla. And they're trying to play dirty. It depends. But Chelsea now, it seems like have to pay the release clause. Now, in terms of getting this deal done, Monchi did mention at the very end of that press conference that if a lower bid comes in and we accept it, then nothing changes. Something along those lines. And I'm thinking, okay, so are you entertaining the idea of a possible negotiation at the very last minute? That would suit Chelsea. Chelsea's ideal scenario now would be to negotiate with Sevilla and knock off about 5 million. Because if they do that, they show that they have the power in this deal. And that is Chelsea's main priority here, to come out looking strong. Chelsea don't want to come out looking weak. And that if you just push Chelsea and put a release clause and say, no, we're not doing it unless you pay a release clause, then Chelsea will pay. That will make Chelsea look weak going forward, and Chelsea don't want that. So it's all touch and go. Still 10 hours to go. We'll see what happens. That's the deal with Kounde. Let's move over to Saul. This one's been up and down like a roller coaster at Thorpe Park. Right? Simple as that. I'm going to give you all the information and then we're going to analyze it. So let's check this out. This is from Matt Law. It says, breaking. There is still a bit of life in Saul Niguez to Chelsea. Parties haven't given up yet. We had Saul Niguez to Chelsea will only happen if Atletico Madrid can sign a replacement. Pablo Sarabia, the target. Obviously, he's from PSG. This is from Nizar Kinsella. Chelsea and Atletico feel it's unlikely the deal for Saul Niguez will happen. It could be revived. Atletico may find a great option in the last minute to see Saul leave the club. Atletico wanted obligation or an option with clauses based on game games played. And this is from Simon Johnson and Dan McCarthy saying Saul Niguez loan to Chelsea with option to buy can only happen today if Atletico Madrid can sign a replacement midfielder. They signed Rodrigo de Paul from Udinese last month. They want Pablo Sarabia from PSG. So this one, as soon as I put out the video earlier on, it started coming out, it's off. Even Fabrizio Romano and many others who are currently live streaming, and fair play to them, because they're just going to be sat there working, talking non-stop for about 12, 15 hours. That's not easy. Trust me, I would know from someone that does watch-longs for 3 hours, maybe, one time a week. It's not easy to go on that long. So fair play to everyone that's doing the live streams. But even he said the deal's off. It's off. We started hearing the deal's off. It's not happening. Saul is staying at Atletico. This deal is finished. It's collapsed. And then we started hearing, oh no, you know what? It might be revived. It might be revived. There's still a bit of hope. There's still a chance here. There might be something. And then started hearing that Pablo Sarabia from PSG could be the replacement coming in. If Atletico can get that done, they will happily let Saul leave. That's the main thing for Atletico, the replacement. They don't want to let go of Saul, especially on a loan, without any money coming in, without getting a replacement. So we'll wait and see what happens there. If I'm honest, I don't think that's going to happen. If we start hearing Sarabia's leaving PSG, then it's on. Then it's on like Donkey Kong. And right now, it would be ideal for Chelsea to get that midfielder. It really would be. We know Tuchel wants Saul. Tuchel wants him. Tuchel wants Kounde. It seems like these two names are what Tuchel and the club both want and have verbally agreed, or mutually agreed. These are the players we need. It would be nice to get both in. Kounde seems like priority because we've let go of Zuma. We don't want to lose out. Saul, if that comes in, fantastic, because we know Tuchel wants him. But the realistic view on this is, look, if Saul doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. Let me just end the video by trying to reassure you guys. If Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic are all fit, if there's no injuries throughout the season, God forbid, touch wood, if all of them are good and they don't get any injuries, we're fine. We're fine. 3 players for 2 options, for 2 positions. We're good. If something happens to one of them, we're still okay, just if both can stay fit. If something happens to 2 of them now, Chalobah will be an option looked at. Loftus-Cheek, as I mentioned at the start of the video, he's not going anywhere. So Loftus-Cheek will be the option as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Tuchel's going to use him. And it seems like that Tuchel is getting ready to work with Loftus-Cheek in case Saul doesn't come in. And we have to use him in a double 6 in terms of being able to be that defensive cover in case we need it. So right now, in terms of options, Chelsea have them. Even in the squad, Chelsea have them. We're okay for cover. We're okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. Trust me, teams would kill to have a midfield of Kante, Jorginho and Kovacic, right? We're good. We're sorted. It's the unlikely, risky event. If we get 2 injuries, that's where we need cover. That's what our main concern is. But right now, fingers crossed, if everyone stays fit, we're good. But if Saul comes in, that would be nice. So we'll wait and see. I'll give you an update later on in the late afternoon, early evening, possibly about 4, 5, 6 p.m. We'll see what happens. Unless something drastic happens and it's breaking, I will report it straight away and, give you my thoughts on it all. And then near towards the end of the window, I'll give you a roundup and see exactly what's happened and what we've done and what we've not done. So that concludes video number 2. I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Right now, as it stands, Kounde looking touch and go, possibly unlikely, but it depends how far Chelsea are going to go in terms of putting the money on the table. Should they pay £65 million now? Let me know. Or do you think there's room for negotiation? Let me know in the comments. And Saul right now looks pretty much dead, but not just dead yet. There's still a chance. There's still a chance. If Sarabia goes to Atletico, this deal is back on. So we'll wait and see. Let me know what you think. Thank you all so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. And I'll see all of you later on. See you in a bit. Take care and peace.